And hello to all my Aquarius friends. I'd like to welcome you in. My name is Scott Sagent, and today I'll be doing your free psychic tarot reading for January 2023. Now today they've dialed up a very specific corner spread for my great Aquariuses. They want to talk about work, business, enterprise, area of study. That work corner is a big place, collegiate courses, retirement if you're of that age, entrepreneurship. For most people it's just the job, but it depends on what you got going on. Hobbies, interests in the whole bit, learning new things. It all falls into the work corner, guys. Now thankfully we're going to set it up in the storyline format. It's a great setup for general readings. It allows me to be very accurate because it's like a bunch of mini readings all in one. It casts a very wide net across the entire sign of Aquarius. So we're telling 3, 4, sometimes 5 different stories for different Aquariuses and different work situations. So we're going to find the story that is right for you. I've had people tell me sometimes multiple stories do resonate with them, and that's okay if it does, but at the end of the day, the goal is to find your story. So we're going to find the home run in there that is right for you. And they've asked that I conclude your reading with a reading that I call Telling Time. It is a very interesting, fascinating reading as well. It locates a window of opportunity in dates. Usually it's for the future, for 2023. And this is something that they do not want you to miss. And they want to start telling you about it now so you can be eyes open and on the lookout for it. Bring it to your awareness. And we're also going to conclude your reading with a runestone. That'll tie the nice little bow around this package presentation that we are calling January 2023. So we're going to get started right now, guys. The cards are already shuffled. I do that ahead of time to save us all a bunch of time. I'm going to bring you in the overhead view right now above my head so you can watch. I like to share my table with you guys. And there we go. We are on and recording. What I'm doing now, these are my ritual cuts, basically cutting each deck into 3 different parts, putting them back together in a separate order, and that satisfies the ritual aspect of tarot. It's the same procedure for personal private readings, so it's just like you're here with me now. Now here we go. All storyline spreads that I do start with 5 cards, and I expand out from there where I need to go. So here are your first 5 cards, and probably the most important. And that's actually going to be our end. I know that because I have this last person here on the end facing back inward, so it kind of brackets us off. It's Spirit's way of saying full stop, you're good. That's all we need right there. Now I do need more cards to talk about the specifics and more information on each story, but first we got to get together pairings. The inverts are good. We only got 1 inverted card right here. So the pairings go, well, we got 3 majors right here. These guys are going to be facing each other. We got no other facings there, so we got standalones. So basically we're looking at 4 different stories that are going to be like this, and now I just need more information on all of them. This one being 2 pips, it's just going to get 1 card kind of in between them. That'll describe that. That's the Hermit. That story is done. It's all upright too. Nice clear read. Over here we're going to get 2 cards for Lady Justice to describe that story. Okay, then we're going to come down here to the Hierophant and get 2 cards for that one. As well as 2 cards down here for the Devil. All major arcana cards. Okay, so now what we have here... It's good. 1 person card here in the page. I do need to do a discard. Make sure it's not a person. It is not. So we're using the energetic definition there. Okay, everything is all set with the exception of an Angel Oracle card for every single story. And then check my inverts per individual story because we do have a couple stories that are majority blocked. But first, one thing at a time. Oracle card here. Oracle card here. Come on. There we go. Oracle card here. And Oracle card here. There we go. So we are, it might be off the screen, but I'm going to move the camera around so you guys can see everything. Don't worry. Do not fret. I'm going to show you it all. Over here, though, we are blocked. We are 3/4 blocked, so I do need to do a discard to see if Spirit wants to upright that. They do not. They like it just the way it is. I'm going to upright this card just so I can see it better because I do not read the oracles inverted. There's no reason to. That story is good here. Over here, we're good distribution too, half and half, so I'm going to upright that one so we can see it for the camera. And then over here... also, we are good distribution, so everything is ready to go, guys. Now it's just a matter of showing you. I'm going to take it off the little holder here to make sure you guys get a good view of what is going on. So we got story 1 right here. Story number 2 right there. All about work, guys. These are all about work stories. Story number 3. And story number 4. And, you know, this is probably the most equal leveled storyline spread I've ever done. We got all the stories about the same length. There's really not any one big long one or one big short one. They're all just kind of equidistant, equal parts to each other. So there we go. Let's get to work, guys. You have seen it all, so now it's time to translate it all, the fun part. I'm trying to remember if I told you orders. I think we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's what I told you. The order may be different if I jump around. I do apologize. I forgot what order I kind of laid out the groundwork for there. I know this is usually my first one. I go upper left corner for first. So this one is the first one that I showed you. Now, story-wise here, as far as work is concerned, we talk about something legal coming in with work. So if you have something legal going on, a contract, agreement, something like that, this could very well be your story that you're attaching to here. This is the attachment card to pull in. So this is letting you know, hey, this story is all about you. You got something legal going on at work? This is likely you, right here, right now. Now, they do say it's a decision that's being made too, and it's a major one, and a lot of you have actually already made it, okay, into January, or really need to. You know, this is something like if you haven't made this decision yet, you really need to get on the ball here, especially work legal stuff. Now, going back to the Justice card, there's another definition there, and that can be karmic. So this can be like, you know, the work karma that you put into work is now coming back to you. Hopefully it's good karma, but bad karma also finds its way back to you. But for the most part, you know, I stick with the legal definition there for most of my audience. So that's what they talk about first, in that major decision needing to be made. There's a level of heartbreak you guys are getting over. So something pains you at work. Maybe it's the job, you just not feeling the job. It's not for you. You prefer something different. Maybe you don't like the people you work with. Maybe you don't like the job. Maybe you don't like the boss. You know, the whole bit. It can be really anywhere along the line. Now, it does show the low level of heartbreak, so this is not severe. It's just something that, you know, it really kind of affects your kind of, I want to say your mental health, but that might be strong. Kind of like your mental aptitude, your attitude, all that kind of stuff. It affects that, and it's kind of you know, you're a little confused as to what you should do about it. They show the Y card here in my Oracle Angel card, so you know, you don't really know the way out right now if this is you, or what you should do. Should I sign this contract? Should I stay with this job longer? I mean, that's kind of a contract too, an unwritten one by staying with a job, you know. And even if you decide to stay and not do anything, remember that's still a choice. Even by not choosing, you're making a choice. It's that thing called a choice paradox. So there we go, story one. You know, there's not really a whole lot there's not a whole lot else that I can do with it to tell you what to do, what not to do, because it looks like a lot of you have already blown the horn on that and decided already. And you know, the best way to deal with anything that's really bothering you, especially if it's illusionary stuff like stress, anxiety, stuff that's not real to the touch, is try not to let it burden you as much as you can. I know it's easier said than done, but a lot of that stuff is not real. You know, sometimes you end up worrying about things that are in the future that haven't even happened yet. They may never happen, so why waste the energy today for something that could never occur at all, you know, something like that. So maybe that helps some of you in story one. That is a tough one to read though, not gonna lie. Story two, I'm gonna bounce up here. This is my Hermit card. So this is work stuff that you're doing alone. For those of you who work alone, or even just you work for a company but you're off on your own, you know, you're driving or doing your own thing, or just kind of off in your cubicle alone. This could very well be your story here. Now, they show a small success. That's great news. That's a nice little, I mean, the keyword there is small, but you know what? Any success is good. You know, small successes add up to big successes. And what could a small success be? It could be a spot bonus. It could be just a small thing, you know, maybe boss buys you lunch. Could be a big thing like, hey, you get a promotion and your salary is, you know, getting a big bump. Okay, so we got small wins coming in there, and the variety and the scale of the frequency of what those small wins are really is determined by where you're at, Aquarius, and if you're here in story two at all, because this is not the whole sign. Now, the next thing they do show is really perspective, and some of you are in between two jobs or in between two places in jobs. It could be location two, in between two different locations, and really kind of finding the freedom to work both of these angles here. They also show that this is a card a little bit about work perception too, so they want to make sure that you are looking at the big picture and not just what's right in front of your face. So a little zoomed out approach, you know, bird's eye view, zoom it out a little bit. Hey, don't look at just this year. Look at, 5 years down the road. Where's this going? 10 years down the road. Where's this going? Is it a retirement situation? All these kind of things they want you to start considering this year. If this is you here in story 2, working for yourself. They show chop wood, so that basically means get to work. Long story short, it's like you got to do the work. You got to put in the work. You got to put in the time to get to your goals, to achieve the things that you're trying to achieve. It's not the time to slack, definitely. January is the time to go after it and get it done. Okay, it's very busy, kind of worker bee energy. Get it done. Let's chop it out. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so there we go. Moving into story 3, we are chopping right through them, guys. We are clearing some space. Story 3, I'm coming down to my Hierophant card. This is the story that is partially blocked. The Hierophant card, after we read this one too, I'm just kind of peeking ahead. We have some Empress on a block. Okay, so we're going to jump into the moon cycles next because we have major full and new moon activity going on. January and February are some of the biggest lunar cycles in the entire year. So we're going to cut away for that real quick. But first, story 3. In story 3, they really talk about first that this is for a lot of you that are in some kind of toxic work environment. And that may be a strong word. Maybe toxic is not like toxic sludge, like, there's poison in the air, but you know what? Emotions can be poison, thoughts can be poison, and, attitudes. We talked about that in story 1. Can also be poisonous, and they can be contagious. And you know what? If you're just in a bad work environment, or you're not feeling it, or it's not for you, or you need a vacation, you just need a break, you need something like that, that's what's coming up here in story 3. They do show new journeys, so this is something that I feel like a lot of you are going to leave and start something new here with. Get away from the toxic energies, and that's a good thing to see. And even if it's just, hey, you got to get away and hit the reset button for a couple of weeks, and then you know what, I'll reset my batteries and I'll go back in and I'll deal with what I got to deal with. But regardless of that, it does come with a conservative approach. They don't want you to do anything crazy here. This is more kind of play it safe, let it play out in front of you, but at the same time it is a new journey, so it is exciting times here for Aquarius is here in story 3. The next thing we show here is it's a card about easy work. It can be about like moving past learning, like you've learned enough things already, like now you can move forward with what you're trying to move forward with. You've, for example, I'm seeing in my head like a salon, just to give you an example. You've already learned, you've put in X amount of haircuts, you've done, so many of this, so many colorings, so many shampoos, and you've got the experience now. Now you're ready to like go open your own salon, or now you're ready to go, work at the next tier up, the better salon that pays more, right? Or the higher tier, higher grade one. So that's what they show here is that, you've kind of like learned the apprenticeship. You've got the knowledge now, you have the experience, and now you're ready to go. And this is also going to create easier work for you if you're able to do this. And I would encourage you to try to do that, because it's not just easier work, but it's also easier money. So it's kind of like a double win. It's like win and win by doing this. They show fork in the road, which kind of shows me that, it's a choice between one or the other. It's not like there's 7 or 8 different choices here. It's really just a 2-deal thing. It's go left or go right, yes or no, very simply put. So that kind of, at least it limits down to what you need to figure out. It's much easier to figure out 2 things than it is to figure out 12 things. Fork in the road is also, letting you know here that your current path, it's kind of, to me, it's like a no-brainer, because if we started with the toxicity here, the toxicology of the current job status, and if that's the case, the fork in the road's an easy decision. Maybe some of you are just having a hard time with change. Some of you are having a hard time pulling the trigger, and Spirit is telling you here, find some confidence, have a little faith in yourself and the knowledge that you put into this. Like, you got it, you're under control, like you can get this done, and you got to get away from this environment. Maybe it's just, there's nothing wrong with the environment, maybe you just deserve better. Maybe Spirit is looking at this like, you can do so much more than what you're doing. You're really holding yourself back here, and this fork in the road is not really a fork in the road. It really is like more of a, one road is very bumpy and the other one is very smooth. So which one are you going to walk down? That's kind of what's going on there. Now we're going to cut away to do your moon cycles real quick, and then I'm going to be back with story 4, which is a fascinating one too. I'm not going to tease it too much. Let's just get that moon cycle going, and we'll be right back. Okay guys, it is moon cycle forecast time. Let's talk about those moon cycles, because we have the most lunar activity now, January and February until August, guys. So these 2 months are going to be huge. Let's talk about January. The first thing that comes in January is on January 6th. This is going to be a micro full moon. It's called the wolf moon because it's the first full moon of the year of 2023. And the full moon is the best time to get anything out of your life that doesn't fit there, that you don't want there in general. Hey, you just got to get it out. It doesn't matter what it is. The universe doesn't care. We've done very specific spreads this month, and it doesn't matter if it's something we've talked about or not. Let's say it's something, for some of you it's people. You got to get people out of your life. For some of you got to sell something. You got to repurpose something to get it out of your life. Emotional baggage, stress, anxiety, doesn't matter what it is. If it's something that's got to go and be removed from your life, let's say certain eating habits, the whole bit. It's full moon energy, guys, and the best time to do that is the first week of January. This is very much, New Year's resolution stuff is when you do new things. Well, actually, the way that the moon cycles line up, that's not the case. It's actually the best at the beginning of the new year to get rid of something out of your life with that full moon energy. Now, adversely, and what does micro mean? Micro just means that it's small in the sky. So it's smaller visibly than normal. And, does that mean that it doesn't work as well? No, not really. You can still get it done. It's, the energy is lightened a little bit. But let's talk about that new moon, because that's the opposite. That we have another super new moon coming in January. We just had one in December. We're going to have another one in February. And right now in January, the sky is going to be huge. It is the super new moon. It happens on January 21st. So, don't focus on the end of the month because that gets back into the full moon eking in from February. But let's call it the third week. The third week of January is the best time to bring actually anything brand new into your life. That New Year's resolution stuff, save it for week 3. I'm telling you, much better chance of getting it to stick and making it apply. And you can just use this new year between now and then as preparation time to get ready for these changes that you're trying to make. And what are you trying to bring new into your life? Well, like I said, the universe doesn't care. It doesn't matter what you use it for. You can use it to attract new love. You can use it to attract new finances. Do something new with work, something new with health. It doesn't matter. So if it's something new, the third week of January is going to be your target time for that, so please stick to that. It's going to help it just move a little smoother. And if any of this has confused you, I've put together a moon cycle cheat sheet. It is for free, and it is on my website. You can check that out anytime. It's on my videos tab. Go to the bottom there. You can see the moon cycle cheat sheet, and it shows you how these energies flow in and out and how best to align important decisions in your own life to them to make things go a little smoother. That's what it's all about, guys. While you're at the website, make sure you're signed up for the newsletter program. That's at the sign up for that is at the very bottom of every single page, as well as follow the Facebook page because I do giveaways on there, as well as my newsletter people get giveaways as well. And I only send one newsletter email every single month. It's just for promo codes and updates, see what's going on. We're always doing new and fun things on the channel, on the site. And also, guys, now I need to tell you about the new product. Speaking of new fun things, I have my quadrants video. I only do these in January, guys, and this is releasing on January 3rd. If you're checking out this video after January 3rd, it's going to autoplay after your reading. But if not, you guys are going to have to check it out. But it's going to be available and posted everywhere, YouTube, Facebook, on my website, the whole bit. Check out your quadrants video. It forecasts the entire year for your sign. And we're looking at, what is the best quadrant? What is the best, quadrant is basically a circle that's broken into 4 parts. So this is your year. What quadrant, what quarter is the best for you for work, for health, for love? What is the best quadrant to take a vacation in? What is the best quadrant for you to be a little conservative? What's the best quadrant for you to get busy and take risks? All these things are going to be looked at in the quadrants video. You can get a sampling of that for yourself for the sign, and that's going to be available to everybody. But let's say you want quadrants done just for you. This is the first time I'm releasing this, guys, as a personal audio product. It is part of the mini product line, and this allows you great planning and preparation tools for the entire year. It's the only time I offer this, and it forecasts the entire year. So this is all about you, so it's extremely accurate. And looking at all these things, it's a huge drop of information, guys. It's the best, probably the best bang for your buck. Anytime I've done this for friends, for colleagues, for clients, they always say, if you only get one thing a year, this is like the best thing to do because it outlines everything that is important and relevant. And you guys get to check that out for free, a little sampling in the general reading. But if that's not good enough for you, you want something that's all about you, the quadrants video is now available as a personal audio product on the website. And it's extremely affordable, best bang for your buck you can get. Speaking of new things on the website, guys, I got to tell you about the shop. We got Tiger's Eye gemstones going in on the shop, and I'm going to be flashing pictures up as I talk about it here. We got the standard golden Tiger's Eye. We got the red flare Tiger's Eye. It's just red Tiger's Eye. I call it flare because it's so shiny. And then we got the blue Tiger's Eye, also very, very shiny, very deep, dark blue. And they all kind of vibrate a little bit differently, but they're all kind of the same major themes. Tiger's Eye is really good for negating any kind of negative energy, transmuting it basically, and it's also good for insight and seeing things very clearly, and a whole host of other things as far as medical reasons too, medical things that it really does to boost your body. So a whole host of different things. I'm not going to we got to get back to your reading. I don't want to spend too much time talking about it, but the whole write-up is on the website, scottsagent.com. You can check out all 3 of them and the differences between each of them. And also available, I got a few keychains to go with them. There's a few individual products for keychains. And the best part about the whole thing is what it comes with. Any kind of gemstone purchase is going to come with a free little nylon drawstring bag, a little way to carry your gemstone. And also a little pendant, which is going to be a separate gemstone. Both of those are going to come for free. Okay, well, what if I just buy one gemstone? Do I still get that stuff for free? Yes, you do. You absolutely do. You get all of it with every purchase. Now, it's only one per month, guys, but you know what? Most people are only going to make one purchase a month anyway. So you're getting all this free stuff with any gemstone purchase, and you can read that right up online. It's a no-brainer, guys. Make sure you check out all 3 of those beautiful Tiger's Eyes. Now let's get back to your reading. Okay, Aquarius, I am back, and I was just looking at the sheet. Last month we had a financial spread for you. Now we got a work spread, so you can see what they're doing. They're setting up the money, and now they're setting up the work for you guys. So here in story 4, it's actually very similar in a lot of ways to story 3. There is some moving parts that are different, but there's a lot of correlation going on too, a lot of synchronicity. The first thing that they show that they want you to attach to or not, figure out that if this is about you, is the Devil card, which basically means bonded to something else. Like you're really either stuck in this job or feel like you're stuck, or it could even be habit related, or some of you have developed some kind of bad habits at work. Maybe it's affecting your health. You sit on your butt all day long. You don't get up and move around, right? Or maybe you work with a bunch of smokers and you started smoking again because it's just so easy to do it because they all ask you, hey, you want to go out and take a break? And you say, okay, well, let's do it. Well, habits can form here, and also the being linked to something. That's really the energy of what it's all about here. With the Devil card, it's the influence of the devil. So you're stuck to something you don't really want to be stuck to here if you're here with me in story 4. And they show that the ground is not fertile with my Empress card. So this is saying that, this is not really... this is not the place. This is not the environment. I think it's more environmental card, but by saying not fertile. And it's also the Divine Feminine card, and it's coming on a block. So this is something that, especially if you're doing as a female, like you could really do something better, more than likely. Really get this card turned around. Now, they do show a message that comes in later in January in regards to not just work, but your family. So something important with the family comes up here in story 4. That's one of those alternating moving parts that are different. And this is going to come in as a correspondence. So what does that mean? I mean, it could be just about anything, but it's something relevant in regards to your work. So like, hey, the family had this happen and now we have this extra bill, or we have this thing we have to take care of together. So they're letting you know here in your spread that, work plays an important role there because it probably costs money to do so. Now, the last thing they show us here in the Oracle Angel card is clean it up. So it does show that, this is not really it for you, just like we talked about in story 3 where it was toxic. Here they're saying it's more bound, like you're just kind of stuck in this situation. So you got to get unstuck. You got to find ways to clean it up, or maybe just maybe if you decide to be bound to it, because after all, it is your choice, right? If this is something you just decide, I'm just all in, and I'm just going to be stuck to this company. It's going to be me and them. We're going to be that peanut butter and jelly, and I'm just going to see it through until the day that I leave there, until the day that I retire. Well, and if that's the case, you need to clean up the attitude. You need to clean up the mentality. Hey, you know what? This is going to be just what I do. So I'm going to do my time. I'm going to put in my 8 hours or whatever it is, and I'm going to get my check, and I'm going to go home, and I'm not going to complain about it. I'm going to, especially if you're not going to change anything, then you lose the right to complain, right? So that's what they show. They show cleaning it up. So, just some tidying up in the work corner. And there's some kind of family situation that does occur. And it doesn't even mean that the situation is a bad one. I know I gave you the example of something that people would call negative, putting out money for something for the family that was unexpected. But this could be a good thing with the family too, like notification saying, hey, so-and-so is pregnant. We're going to have... life is going to change in a big way here now. So, now you need more money. Now that job becomes a lot more relevant. So, is it time to move on to get a better paying job? And all these kind of questions come up with that whole story. So let's get into your runestone, guys, and we're going to do some telling time. These are already shuffled up too. Just give them a quick swirl, and we're ready to go. The runestone for Aquarius. This guy right here, and this has come up for many signs now. A lot of signs. This is like the 3rd time, I believe. And this is the runestone of partnership, guys. So this is the month to do things together with people at work, to work in groups. Don't go off on your own. I know we talked about that in story 2. That would be the only kind of it's okay. If you're already working by yourself and going off on your own, that's different. But for everybody else, this is a time for groups, for gatherings, working together, getting things done together for work. And even partnership could be you in the company, or you in something you're trying to do in work, working together. So that's what partnership means here. So good runestone there. That kind of correlates to what we were discussing. Now let's get into your telling time. I used a lot of cards. I used more than my limit is. So I'm going to reshuffle real quick so you don't have to be bored waiting around for that, and I'll be right back. Okay, Aquarius, I am back with your telling time. The cards have been reshuffled. Going to do the ritual cut one final time. Put it back together after the thirds, and here we go. Now there's different rounds here. If we get our markers in the first round, the marker for time, this means that it's hugely relevant, like this is something you cannot miss for the life of you. If it happens in the other rounds instead, it doesn't mean it's less important, it just means it's less urgent. And we already have our date, so this is something hugely, largely, massively, I'm running out of vocabulary here to show you how important that this date is going to be. It's going to be huge, guys. And just making sure it's only one date, not two. It is just one. So now I need to tack on time to it. There we go. That is done. And then also what it's about and what this is about there. And we're all ready with that. I just need to calculate, do some math here. So I'm going to cut away one final time. We'll be right back with that. Okay, guys, I am back with your math calculations for the telling time, and we have the date of September 6th, so pay less attention to the 6th, and let's just call it early September. By September, what I think they're doing is they're actually giving you a term here. Not a contract, but like, well, kind of like a contract, but basically like a deadline. I guess deadline is a better word. So they're saying, hey, you need to get this done by September. You have, 8 full months to work on that right now. So this is what it's about. They talk about work slowing down, work getting slow. So maybe, that's why it makes me feel like, hey, this is the wind down. This is when, your little wind up toy, when it gets to the end and it's just barely moving, it's barely hopping or whatever it does. This is your work projection here for those of you who need to get out of work, because we had that in 2 stories, either toxicity or just, bonded or making the decision to be bonded. All these decisions need to be made by September, guys. It's all together. They put this all together and they show it's also going to get crazy. Not only does things slow down and wind down, but it gets wild. We got chaos and conflict coming in, and that is when you mix and match different things that don't really go together right. It's like trying to force 2 puzzle pieces together that don't fit. Like, yeah, you can make it look like it kind of works, but it doesn't make a puzzle. It doesn't really paint the picture of what's going on. And that's the same thing that happens here on this September deadline. So those of you that are moving, work goals, in that work corner is a big place. September is a big marker for a lot of Aquarians, and that is why they wanted to do telling time, guys. So very fascinating stuff. And that is going to conclude our reading. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please remember to like and subscribe so you see the future readings. Have a happy new year and enjoy your January.